Hi, it's Leslie with Piece by Piece Wellness Coaching. Today we're going to be making some fermented vegetables, and I have some here in my sink, and I've washed some beets and some celery and some cabbage and some carrots. All of these are organic vegetables and they have been washed, and we're going to make 3 quarts. One is going to contain the beets, another will be containing the carrots, and the third will be containing the cabbage to make sauerkraut. What we have is our starter, and we'll be making a brine solution, and celery is actually going to be used. Half of the bunch of celery is going to be blended and pureed in the blender with one of the starter cultures for every quart of the fermented vegetables we make. So the vegetables are now washed, and we'll get started. So I've juiced the celery now, and I've strained it. I don't have a juicer that's of high quality, so I did use my Vitamix and strained this with a fine sieve strainer. And I will use about a third of it for each of the quart jars that I'm preparing with the fermented vegetables. In the celery juice, I'm going to put a quarter teaspoon, of this kinetic starter. And then I will repeat that with each of the separate celery juices that I have already strained. I've made the brine, and the brine has the kinetic culture in it, and I'm pouring it into each of the vegetables that I have already prepared into the quart jars. I'm going to need, it looks like, a little bit of water before I finish, and because all of the vegetables need to be underneath the level of the brine. So as I said, the vegetables all need to be at the level of the brine, and so that prevents mold from growing on the top. And so how I'm going to help do that is I am going to put a cabbage leaf to really pack in the vegetables so that they are below the level of brine. So the cabbage leaf serves to help keep those vegetables packed down in there, and I'm going to pack those in before I put the top onto the jars. Put the top on each of these jars after I really pack down the cabbage on top of again, to keep them below the vegetables, below the level of the water brine. And the cabbage also adds some nutrients to the fermented product as it ferments. What I'm going to do next, because I've sealed these, I actually have some special tops on these. You don't necessarily need to use these. You can use the same ball jar tops or curd jar tops that come with the mason jars, but I am using a special fermented cap that allows for some it has a filter in it, and I'm going to try this and see how that works while I'm fermenting the vegetables. We'll ferment the vegetables probably from up to 7 days before I then have to put them in the refrigerator, and I've got to make sure I keep them out of sunlight and keep them in basically a darker place and not too high of a temperature so that they ferment properly. So thanks for watching, and I'm hoping to enjoy the fermented beets, the cabbage or sauerkraut, and the carrots. And these are so great for you because they contain so many probiotics. And I chose the particular product here that's a culture starter because it is a certain actual guaranteed a mixture of probiotics, but you can choose to do this with any particular culture starter that you would like to use for fermented vegetables. Thanks for listening to Piece by Piece Wellness Coaching, and I hope that you too can enjoy some fermented vegetables because they're great for your microbiome.